Welcome to the Explainer. Ever wondered if the lawyer you're about to trust with your case, your finances, or, even your freedom is actually licensed to practice? Well, today we're uncovering the secrets to verifying an attorney's legitimacy right here in New York State. Let's get right into it. Okay, let's dive into this because the stakes are honestly incredibly high. Just imagine handing over thousands of dollars, or maybe the entire fate of your immigration status, to someone who isn't even legally allowed to give you advice. It's scary, right? Unlicensed legal practice is a very real threat. But today, I'm going to give you the exact tools you need to basically become a credentialed detective, ensuring your legal representation is 100% legitimate. So here's our investigative roadmap for today. We're going to start with the verification imperative, navigate the directory, decode the statuses, uncover disciplinary records, troubleshoot scams, and then wrap up with a quick disclaimer. All right, part one, the verification imperative. Look, when you hire a lawyer, you're entrusting them with incredibly sensitive parts of your life. You wouldn't let an unlicensed surgeon operate on you, right? Well, the exact same logic applies to the law. A really common trap people fall into is the notary public. See, in many other countries, a notary is actually a fully qualified attorney. But here in the United States, notaries are generally only authorized to witness signatures. It's a huge difference, and vulnerable people are frequently scammed by translation businesses or travel agencies posing as legal reps. The rule in New York is crystal clear. Only licensed attorneys and Department of Justice accredited representatives can legally provide legal advice. If a business offers to help you fill out an immigration application for a fee, but they aren't licensed, they absolutely cannot legally advise you. And if anyone asks for a fee just to hand you a blank free government form, yeah, that is a massive red flag for fraud. Moving on to part two, navigating the attorney directory. The primary tool you need to get comfortable with here is the New York State Unified Court System database. Think of this as the official central registry of attorneys managed by the Office of Court Administration. It's essentially the master list. To use it, you just go to their website, look for the attorney search section, choose your search parameters, and execute the search. It literally takes 2 minutes. It's completely free, and it's absolutely the single best way to confirm exactly who you're dealing with. Now, when you reach that search screen, you only need a last name to get started. But, as you can imagine, New York has a lot of lawyers, so adding a first name definitely helps filter the crowd. The absolute fastest and most accurate method, though? Using their unique 7-digit registration number if you happen to have it. Let's head into part three, decoding registration statuses. So, you've hit search. This right here is the one you want to see lighting up your screen, currently registered. That's the gold standard. It means the attorney is fully authorized to practice law right now. They've paid their mandatory $375 biennial fee to the state, and they've kept up with all their continuing legal education mandates. They are active, current, and legitimate. This is exactly what you want to confirm before you ever sign a retainer. But wait, what if you search for them and their status says inactive? You might think, oh, maybe they took a break to travel or write a book, and they're just getting back into the swing of things, right? Actually, we've got to bust a massive myth right now. New York has absolutely no inactive status. You're either in or you're out. If a lawyer isn't actively practicing, they still have to register, or they must officially classify themselves as retired or resigned. There is no inactive middle ground in the Empire State whatsoever. If you search and see any of these specific statuses we're looking at now, hit the brakes and run the other way. Delinquent means they missed their mandatory fees or filings and are currently unauthorized to practice. Suspended means they've been temporarily barred by a court order, which is usually due to unethical conduct. And disbarred? Well, that's the ultimate penalty. They are permanently stripped of their right to practice law in the state. So yeah, these are severe red flags. If you see them, immediately look for different legal representation. You might also run into the retired status. If a lawyer's status is retired, they're exempt from paying those state fees, but they absolutely cannot charge you for any legal work. They can only do uncompensated pro bono work. So if a retired lawyer hands you a bill for services, you are definitely being scammed. Okay, let's move on to part four, uncovering disciplinary records. The online registry is fantastic for checking basic standing, but to be honest, it doesn't always tell the whole story. If an attorney had a private reprimand, or if you want to see the nitty-gritty details of a past public censure, you can't just click a button on the main directory. You actually have to dig a little deeper and go to the regional appellate divisions of the New York State Supreme Court. Now, New York makes this a bit of a treasure hunt because the state is split into 4 judicial departments. In the first department, which covers Manhattan and the Bronx, you can actually find public decisions right online. Super easy. But in the second and third departments, get this, only the attorney themselves can request a formal letter of their disciplinary history. You'd literally have to ask the lawyer to provide it to you. And in the fourth department covering Western New York, you have to contact local district committees directly. It's kind of complex, for sure, but it is absolutely vital if you suspect unethical behavior. Which brings us to part 5, real scams and troubleshooting. Our sources highlighted a fascinating real-world example of why you really can't just take things at face value, the Cornelio case. So James P. Cornelio filed a federal civil rights lawsuit as a pro se plaintiff. That just means he was representing himself in court. Now, you might assume he's just a regular citizen navigating the system, right? But a quick check of the New York State Unified Court System reveals a pretty wild twist. Cornelio himself was actually a disbarred New York attorney following a 2005 conviction. This just completely proves that you must always verify credentials, regardless of someone's past title, how confidently they speak, or their current involvement in the legal system. Always trust, but verify. Now, what if you can't find your lawyer in a system at all? Don't panic right away. Try searching for maiden names or use partial names just in case there's a typo in the database. And here's a massive troubleshooting tip you need to remember. Federal courts operate completely independently from the state. So if your lawyer is representing you in a federal court like the Southern District of New York, you have to contact that specific federal court's help desk to verify their admission there. The state directory just won't cover federal bar standing. And finally, part 6, conclusion and legal disclaimer. The core takeaway from today's explainer is simple but so powerful. A quick, totally free search on the New York State Unified Court System website is your absolute best defense. It brings you peace of mind, it ensures you are dealing with a qualified professional in good standing, and it protects you from some truly devastating legal and financial scams. Seriously, don't leave your legal fate to chance. Knowing how incredibly easy it is to search and knowing how high the stakes are for your future, this is a step you literally cannot afford to skip. It's your right, it's your money, and ultimately, it's your protection. As we close out, please note, the information provided in this explainer is for educational purposes only and should not be taken as legal advice. Please consult a legal expert for personalized guidance. Thank you so much for joining me on the explainer today. Stay informed, always verify your experts, and ask yourself, will you take the 2 minutes to investigate your legal representation today?